There is a 7-year-old golden retriever named Biscuit who does something every single evening that his owner, a middle school teacher named Marcus who grades papers until midnight, has never once stopped to truly understand. The moment Marcus carries his plate to the couch, Biscuit appears. Not from across the room, not trotting over with his tail wagging. He simply materializes, as if he was always there. And he sits, perfectly still, perfectly silent, staring at Marcus with a kind of intensity that feels, somehow, bigger than hunger. Marcus always assumes it is about the food. Most of us do. But tonight, let us tell you what is actually happening. Your dog has been trying to tell you something for years. You just did not know the language. And once you hear what science has uncovered about the moment your dog sits beside you while you eat, you will never look at them the same way again. Not once. Not for the rest of your life together. Picture it. You have finally made it home. The day was long and complicated in the way only modern life can be. You warm your dinner, carry it to your favorite chair, and exhale for what feels like the first time since morning. And then, without a sound, your dog is beside you. Their eyes lock onto your face, not your plate, your face. And they do not move. We call it begging. We have always called it begging. We feel mildly annoyed, then guilty, then we either hold firm or we cave and toss them a piece and tell ourselves we will be more disciplined tomorrow. But here is what no one ever told you. That moment your dog sits in perfect stillness beside your chair is not an act of greed. It is one of the oldest and most sacred rituals in the entire history of life on this planet, and it has been playing out, unchanged, for 40,000 years. To understand why, we have to go back. Much further back than you might expect. For a long time, scientists believed the bond between humans and dogs began somewhere between 8 and 15,000 years ago, around the time humans first started farming. The story we told ourselves was almost embarrassingly humble. Early wolves, drawn by the smell of our garbage, learned to tolerate our presence. We tolerated them back. Slowly, over generations, that mutual tolerance became something resembling friendship. A partnership born at the edges of our trash heaps. But that story was wrong. Evidence pulled from caves in Belgium and Siberia tells a far more astonishing tale. Up to 40,000 years ago, during one of the coldest and most brutal periods the Earth has ever known, humans and the ancestors of our dogs were already side by side. Not near our garbage, out on the mammoth steppe, hunting the same animals through the same frozen darkness, surviving the same impossible winters, together. The relationship was not born in convenience. It was born in survival. Imagine that night. A small human tribe around a fire, the smell of roasting meat drifting out into the dark for miles. And at the edge of the firelight, barely visible, a group of wolves watching. Every ancient instinct in those animals screamed at them to lunge forward and take what was there. But one or two of them did something remarkable instead. They sat down, and they waited. Those wolves were different. Their nervous systems ran a little quieter. They could hold their fears still while keeping their eyes locked on the fire. The humans saw them there and did not attack because those still, silent animals turned out to be useful. They could hear predators in the dark long before human ears could. When they sat at the edge of camp without moving, it meant the night was safe. And when the meal was finished, the humans threw the bones into the shadows. The wolves who could hold their stillness, who could maintain absolute calm while watching others eat, were the ones who survived. They were the ones who passed that stillness to their children and their children's children across thousands of generations, until the stillness was no longer something they chose. It was something they were. That is Biscuit sitting beside Marcus every evening. That is every dog who has ever waited quietly at your side while you ate your dinner. The kitchen table is the campfire, the electric lights are the flames, and the stillness your dog offers you, that perfect, patient, unblinking stillness, is 40,000 years of proof that they are not a threat. It is the oldest promise one species has ever made to another. And here is what you can do with that right now. The next time your dog takes their place beside you during a meal, before you feel annoyed, before you feel guilty, take 3 seconds and simply look at them. Not to give them anything, just to look. Let them see your eyes soft and open. That small gesture, in the language they actually speak, is the equivalent of saying, "I see you. You are safe here. You belong." But the stillness is only half the story, because your dog is not just sitting there. They are watching your face with a level of focus that, if you really pay attention, will feel almost unsettling in how precise it is. And the reason why changes everything about what this moment actually is. Think about your dog watching you all day. They see you tense at your phone. They see the slight tightening around your eyes when something worries you. They feel the shift in your body when you are about to leave. All day long, you wear the quiet armor that the modern world requires, the low-level bracing, the performance of having it together. Your dog is a silent witness to all of it, and they absorb it more deeply than you know. But when you sit down to eat, something changes inside your body. The moment you settle into your chair and take that first bite, your nervous system shifts modes. The tight little muscles around your eyes and your mouth, the ones that have been holding your face in shape since morning, they let go. Your breath deepens without you noticing. The lines of your face soften. For the first time all day, you are completely unmasked. And that is exactly what your dog has been waiting for. Think about a dog pressing their nose to a cold window at dusk, watching for headlights in the driveway. They can feel the shift in the house before the car even turns the corner. That sensitivity, that almost preternatural awareness of the people they love, is the same thing happening at your dinner table every single night. Your dog is not just watching you eat. They are reading the most unguarded version of you that exists in the entire day. And to an animal whose survival has always depended on knowing whether the humans around them are at peace or in danger, a soft, relaxed human face is the single most reassuring thing in the world. This is where the science becomes almost too beautiful to hold. Researchers have spent years studying precisely how dogs read human faces, and what they found defies almost everything we casually assumed. Dogs have developed a specific, measurable ability to interpret human facial expressions, including the expressions of complete strangers in photographs. When they see a tense, angry face, their bodies shift into appeasement. They look away. They make themselves smaller. But when they encounter a calm, open, safe face, they lean in. They hold the gaze. They synchronize. Your dog is not staring at you because they want your chicken. They are staring at you because the calm on your face is the closest thing they have to a home within a home. A woman named Carla works from a home office, and her dog, a 3-legged rescue named Fig, sleeps under her desk all day. He barely moves. But the second Carla closes her laptop and walks to the kitchen, Fig is awake, upright, his one front paw tapping the floor in anticipation. Not because he knows it is dinner time by the clock, because he can feel the shift in her. The day is ending. She is becoming herself again, and he has been waiting, quietly and faithfully, for exactly that. But even this does not fully explain what your dog is actually asking for when they hold that vigil beside your chair. Because the piece of food, when it finally comes, is not about nutrition, and the science of why will rearrange something in your chest that may not go back to exactly where it was. Neuroscientists at Emory University did something remarkable. They trained dogs to lie completely still inside an fMRI scanner while they were awake, and then they watched what happened inside the canine brain when presented with two things. The first was the smell of food. The second was the voice of their owner offering verbal praise and affection. If dogs were the calorie-obsessed opportunists we sometimes assume they are, the food should have lit up their brain far more intensely. But the scans told a different story. In the majority of dogs tested, the reward centers of their brain, the regions that process pleasure, belonging, and anticipation, responded at least as strongly to the owner's praise as to the food. Several dogs showed significantly stronger responses to the social connection. And when those same dogs were placed in a real-world situation and forced to choose between a bowl of treats and access to their person, the dogs whose brains had lit up for praise bypassed the food and went to their owner. Your dog does not want your dinner. Your dog wants proof that they still belong to you. In the world of the domestic dog, food and love travel the same road in the brain. They are not separate categories. They are not distinct desires. They are one continuous current of the same need: connection, safety, pack. When food comes from your hand, it does not arrive as just calories. It arrives as a physical manifestation of your approval. A tangible piece of evidence that you see them, that you claim them, that the ancient pact is still in place. And then there is the gaze itself. When you look down at your dog and they look back up at you, you are both changed by the moment in a way that is not metaphorical. It is biochemical. The same chemical that floods between a mother and her newborn child during their first moments together, the one that creates a bond so powerful it rewires the brain, oxytocin, is present in both of you during that mutual gaze. It rises in your blood. It rises in theirs. A feedback loop of love, biological and real, generated simply by two sets of eyes choosing each other across a small distance. This response is entirely unique to domestic dogs. Wolves, even wolves raised by humans, do not create this loop. In the wild, a direct and prolonged stare is almost universally a threat. It is an act of dominance, a prelude to violence. Our dogs took that ancient signal and they flipped it completely inside out. They transformed it into one of the most sophisticated acts of love in the animal kingdom. So when Biscuit sits beside Marcus every evening, when he holds that unwavering gaze while Marcus eats his dinner and grades his papers, Biscuit is asking one question, the same question every night, in the only language he has. Am I still yours? Am I still safe? Are we still us? There is also something heartbreakingly beautiful that behaviorists have noticed in dogs during their own meals. Right as a dog finishes eating, with the bowl almost empty, they will often pause. And before taking those final bites, they glance up at their person. Not asking for more, not demanding anything, just checking in, closing the loop, making sure the bond is still intact before the moment passes. That instinct, to confirm connection before a shared experience ends, is something that runs so deep in them it surfaces even when they are the ones eating. That is not a pet. That is a creature whose entire emotional architecture is built around you. We were taught, for a long time, to believe that a dog staring at us during dinner was a challenge, a power play. That giving them a bite was surrender, and that we needed to hold firm and establish dominance. Modern behavioral science has dismantled every part of that story. What we once called begging is now understood to be one of the most complex, layered, emotionally intelligent behaviors a non-human animal produces. It is ancient protocol. It is neurological devotion. It is a living, breathing request to be seen. The next time your dog takes their post beside your chair, You now know exactly what is happening in that moment. 40,000 years of history are sitting quietly beside you. A brain built for love is studying the peace on your face. A nervous system wired for belonging is waiting for the smallest signal that everything between you is still whole. You do not have to give them your whole plate. You do not have to change your routines or your training. Just know what the moment actually is. And when you look down at them, let your eyes be soft. Let them see that you know. Because in their language, that alone is enough. But now we arrive at the part of this story that is almost too tender to say out loud, and it is the part that matters most. Biscuit is 7 now, which means, if we are being honest with each other, that somewhere in the next several years there will be an evening when Marcus carries his plate to the couch and Biscuit does not appear. Not from across the room, not from anywhere. And Marcus will look at the space beside his chair, and the absence will be a kind of weight that no one who has not felt it can quite describe. We are not telling you this to make you sad. We are telling you this because right now, tonight, that moment has not happened yet. Right now, your dog is still here, still capable of appearing at your side with that ancient, faithful stillness, still running the oldest protocol in the history of two species, still asking you, in the only language they have, to let them belong to you a little longer. Your life stretches out in so many directions, across decades and careers and relationships and griefs and ordinary Tuesday afternoons that you will barely remember. But your dog's entire world, every morning they have ever woken up, every fear they have ever felt, every moment of joy they have ever known, all of it fits inside one shape. You. You are their entire universe, the whole of it. And they have been spending it watching your face, reading your breath, and waiting quietly beside your chair with the patience of their ancestors and the love of an animal whose entire evolutionary purpose is you. They do not know how long they have. Neither do we. None of us do. But they know how to be present in a way most humans spend their whole lives trying to learn. They know how to sit still in the firelight and wait and love with everything they have, without asking for anything more than the small, ordinary gift of being near you. So here is what we are asking you to do in the next 60 seconds. When this video ends, find your dog. If they are already beside you, even better. Sit on the floor with them, not in the chair above them, on the floor at their level. Put one hand flat and open on their side and feel them breathe. And let yourself be fully in that moment, not planning anything, not checking anything, just present with this animal who has never once in their life not chosen you. That is not a trick, that is not a training exercise. That is just you honoring the pact. Now we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what does your dog do while you eat? Do they sit in perfect stillness like Biscuit? Do they rest their chin on your knee? Do they perform the most elaborate, dramatic display you have ever witnessed from a creature who has never once missed a meal? We read every single comment, and we love every single one. If this video changed the way you see your dog, even a little, please like it and share it with someone who still thinks their dog is just begging. They deserve to know the truth. And if you want to be part of a community that sees dogs the way dogs deserve to be seen, subscribe. We are just getting started here, and every single person in this community showed up because they love their animals the way animals deserve to be loved. In our next video, we are going to talk about something that happens when you leave the house every morning. Something your dog does in the quiet after the door closes that science has only recently been able to see. And once you know what it is, leaving will never feel quite the same. We will see you there.